Hi guys, this is Frank from buzzofdata.com. Welcome back to Kotlin Coroutines series. In the previous video, we discussed about main concept of Kotlin Coroutine like suspend function, coroutine context, coroutine scope, and how can we handle exception in Kotlin Coroutine. In this part, we discussed about how can we use Kotlin Coroutine in Android project, and we discussed about how to perform single request, and or how can we perform multiple requests, sequency, concurrency, and how can we create own job for results and cancel job dependent or independent, or sometimes we want to when our request fail, we want to retry to do it. And we also discussed about cancelable and non-cancelable in this tutorial. One more thing I want to you know that Kotlin Coroutine is one of the subject in Android channel, and in this channel we also discuss about Jetpack combos, navigation component, MVVM or clean architecture, and room, and many other subjects of Android. And we also build some real project like mobile shopping app, chat application, sharing short video or video call, live stream application, and many other projects. So if are interested with this subject, let's click on the subscribe button and bell icon to make sure that you don't miss any video from us. Okay, now we start with our video today. In this video, we will use a shortcut demo project that I created and published it in GitHub. You can find the link of this Git repository in the description of this video. When you open it and click on branch and select main branch, and you can click on code and download it as a zip file or a clone is. So, and in your computer you open Android Store and open it, and when you run this application, you can see that this application have a home screen, home fragment, home screen, and in the home screen we have 3 buttons. When we click on single request button, it opens single request fragment or single request screen. And when you click back to home and click on multiple request, we open multiple request sequence fragment. And when we click on multiple request concurrency, we open multiple request concurrency screen. And each screen has a fragment and a view model. Example, for single screen, we have a single fragment and single view model. And for single fragment, we also have a fragment single XML file for layout. It's just a simple project. One more thing you need to know about is every view models in this project will extend from base view model. In base view model, we have a repository. I call it fake repository, and some other variable. Maybe they are live data, and one function fetch data. About a fake repository, I just created a function request with index is demo for processing of requesting an API request or do database query. In this function, we just print some log and delay in some milliseconds, and maybe we check whether throw an exception or not, and then bring another log and return an index. So that's it for project. Now we start with how to build or clone a single request by using Kotlin Coroutines. about single request, you can think about a mobile shopping app. And in example, when you are building a category screen for a mobile shopping app, and in this screen you just have only one request, get own category of a store, like this screen. That's our demo project. And in our project, we start work with a single fragment. And keep in mind that to work with coroutine, we need to add its dependency in build file, and we also need to add some Kotlin extension for fragment and for view model. And in single fragment, to create a new single view model, we can use an extension, Kotlin extension, by private var view model, a single request view model by view models, and that's it. And example, for category screen, whenever the user open this screen, I want to load data, and to do it, I override on create function, and I clone view model fetch data, and in single view model, I override fetch data function from base view model. And in this function, I use a view model scope to launch or create a new coroutine launch. And in here, I use a repository to get the data from server, repository request quiz index 1, and it throw exception. No, at that point I don't want to throw any exception. And results, I want to get the result from this request code is, and after get results, I want to pass it into a mutable line data. And in single fragment, I clone model data and observer for each, and I show the data in the text view. Okay, that's it. It's very simple for single request, right? Okay, next, let me try to run our application and see what it look like. Okay, we click on start button, open browser. Okay, and click on single request. And you can see when we open single request screen, it's so loading data, loading text, and then when we finish it, it's so data with index 1, data 1, right? Everything is okay. So now I want, so how can we handle exception for single request? Example, now I want to this function throw an exception, and we can see how application deal with this. Let me move it to here to make sure that we can see it. And click on single fragment, and our application crashed. Why? Because we have not handled any exception. So you can see in the base view model class, I create a variable Byron exception handler. It is a coroutine exception handler, and in here I just print a log and post exception message in mutable line data. So in here I can pass Byron exception handler in launch and run it again. And you can see when we open the log, you can see that we can catch the exception and handle it, but the loading text mm, didn't didn't appear didn't disappear. Maybe in the real project, our project will show a progress bar and cannot allow the customer do any activity, so it's not good, right? You can see here we process the exception. So I want to hide the loading progress bar when the request fail or succeed. How can we do it? So maybe some of you maybe before make a request, uh, we call so loading is true, and when we done with is we call so loading for, right? Is it right? So let me try to do is so loading. Let me add a bread bar in our UI to demo for loading. So after adding the bread bar and try to run application again, in here I change iteration from true to false to demo for bread bar. So I click on single request, and you can see the bread bar show, and when we finish request, the data it is hidden, and the text view show the result. So how about the case when we have an exception? So whether the progress bar is hidden or not, let me try to throw an exception and see what happened. Now we click on single request, and you can see that we handle exception. We can catch the exception, but we cannot hide the progress bar because this statement have never called. So how can we hide the progress bar in a right way? So to do it, you need to create a job equal, as you know, whenever we call scope.launch, it return an instance of job, and we have a function invoke on completion. When our job finished, invoke on completion will be cloned. So in here we clone so loading for, and now we can try to run application again and click on single request, and now you can see when we have an exception, our progress bar isn't hidden, and it is the right way we can hide the loading. So that's it for single request. Now the next part we discuss about how can we call multiple requests. For performing multiple requests, we have many case example when maybe you want to call multiple requests called sequence or concurrency, and for sequence for performing multiple request sequence, maybe in the case example when you build a block detail screen for a shopping application, the when the user open this screen, you first of all you call API to get the block information, maybe for the image, block name, price, description, and then you will call another request to get the option for that product. So so in this case we will perform multiple requests in sequence. So how can we do it? To do it, we open sequential fragment, and in this fragment uh, we will call fetch data function of a sequential view model, and in fetch data we will call view model scope and dot none to create new coroutine, and we pass handle exception except parent exception handler. uh, and you know it is a variable of base view model to handle exception. So example, in here I want to get first row, I want to get the product information, and then I get the option for for this product. So and in here, as you know, when we discuss about single request, we ask invoke on combination function to hide the progress bar when our job finished. So to make it common, and for every view model, I add it into by view model, and I will add a parent job. I will add a parent job and add a function register event parent job finish. And in here, I just need to assign parent job equal, and in here I call register event parent job finished, and in here I just call a function. I add invoke on completion function and hide the progress bar. So in here, first of all, I want to show the loading, and I call to repository to get example for in here I want to get the info, right? I call to get request with index of repository to get the block info, and then when I have a block info, I want to call another function to get the option. So in the real project, maybe you need to use some information from block info. I mean, in the first request to maybe you need to pass block HQ to this request. So in here, I also add for to demo, I add two variable data1 and data2. When we call the first request success, I call data1 post value and block info, and in here I call data2 and post value, and I pass block option, and that's it for view model. And when we open fragment, you can see I add two observer to for data one and data two. So now try to run our application. And when we click on here, maybe we need to wait in 3 seconds. You can see in the log of request 1 done, and it make it down request 2, right, in a sequence. And when we finish, data 1 show, data 2 show, and it is for success case or we call happy path. So how about the unhappy path? It means that when one of two our request is a fail. Example, I want to pass true for first request, and it will throw an exception. and you can click on here and you can see. So from the log you can see that we can request quiz index 1 start, and it throw an exception and request 2 never finish, because as you know, when we discuss about coroutine context and job, we know that when two children, when one children of a job finish, I mean throw an exception, it it clone to parents, and parent will cancel every each children, and then it cancel, the parent job will cancel itself. So in this case, when block info request fail, it cancel, it tell the parent job cancel block option, or maybe it or block option request will never be cloned. In this case, that exactly that I want to have because when I cannot get the block information, I don't want to get the block option, and I don't have enough information to get it right. So in some other case, you want to function or to request finish in dependent. Example, when request 1 fail, you want request to continue to do it. Maybe you can do it, but okay, you can do it. To do it, you first of all you need to add a supervisor scope in here, and now we need to use launch to make two children coroutine, and I clone job 1, and I create job 2, I clone launch. So now to make sure that the job 1 will run or start before job 2, I clone job 1 dot joy, and then I clone job 2 joy. Click on, and you can see in the log that when the request 1 fail, request 2 can start and can finish, and the data can show the screen. But I don't think we have a real use case in the real project, because if the request 1 and request 2 can finish in dependent, we will clone it in concurrency, right? So okay, that's it for multiple requests in sequence. Now we will discuss about how can we make a multiple request concurrence. Performing multiple requests in concurrency, maybe the most popular use case we have in real project, right? So how can we do it? So to do it, first of all, we open concurrency fragment and concurrency view model, and it's the same for sequential fragment. In here, I also have a two take view progress bar for loading, and I clone unfunc view models to get an instance of concurrency view model, and I always clone fetch data on create, and create view in on create view, and on create on the concurrency view model I will override the fetch data function. And example, in a mobile shopping app application and for home screen, in here you have a list banners, and in here you have a list, not test product, and you want to clone to request concurrency. If you can get some data for banner, you show the list banner. Otherwise, you just hidden the view of banners. And it's the same for list not as product. If you get some product for it, you show it, and otherwise you just hidden it. If both of them um, don't have any data, you just throw an errors. So okay, we start with implementing it. First of all, I will create two value for banner and for latest product. I call it list banner and create it is a mutable line data, and so it's just for demo project. Maybe you in the real project it is a list of banner. And in fetch data we call scope.non, and like the way we did for sequential or single request, in here we assign parent job equal and call register event parent job finish to hide the loading bar, and we pass a parent exception handler to handle exception to make sure that if we have any exception, our application will not be crashed. So as you know, when we discuss about Kotlin scope, we know that to make two or multiple coroutine finished independent, we need use a supervisor job, and we can use a supervisor scope. So in this example, I will use the supervisor scope to do it. And in here, I want to console loading to and launch for get the list of banner, and in here I should call banner equal repository get with request with index on pro. So it's just a demo for getting the list banner from server side, and when I got it, I call list banner post menu banner and forget the not test product. I create new coroutine and call product equal repository request with index and pro. Okay, I need not test. When I got the list of product, I post a clone to post value of list not test product, and in the fragment I want to observer for banners and not test product. List banner observer view as corner, and yeah, it's just for a mobile project. You can say these banners, and so we do the same for this not test product. Okay, that is for coding. So now we try to run our application, open the log, open application, and open. Yeah, you can see that when the request one finished, it show list banner with index 1, and the progress bar still loading, still show, show. And when the request to finish, the it show list product with index 2 and the progress bar is hide. So in the log you can see two requests starts at the same time, and request 1 finish first and then request 2 finish, because request 1 just we just delay it in 1 second, and request 2 we delay it in 2 seconds. That is the reason why request 1 finish first. So how about the exception? So example, the request 1 finish fail. How I will add true, and you can see and click on. Yeah, you can see request 1 is failed, and but request 2 can continue and finish. And we also have data for request for NAS test product. It is for a home screen. So in some case we want to make multiple request concurrency, but we want them finished or company dependent. Example for car screen of a mobile shopping app, to when the user open this screen, we call two requests. One request to get all the product item that the user add to cart, and one product to get every total price. Example, subtotal, shipping fee, and grand total. And two requests can be called in concurrency, but if one of them are failed, we will cancel we will show an error, because both these data are required for this screen. If you cannot get the item, you don't want to show just a price, right? And if you just get the grand total or shipping fee, and if you cannot get the item, you will show an error for the user. And how can we do it? To do it, you just need to example for in here we get the list what is item list tag item, for example, and in here we get the total price. And so, and when we fail to get the list card item, we also cancel the request get total price. How can we do it? We just need remove supervisor scope, and that is easy. Okay, now we click on multiple request concurrency, and you can see when the get the card items request fail, the get total price request is also cancelled. So in the case if you two two requests succeed, we can demo for this case by run our application again to make sure that two requests start at the same time. You can see in the log two requests start at the same time, but when one of them is cancelled, another will be cancelled. So keep in mind that when you want every coroutine cancel independent, you use supervisor scope or supervisor job. So if you want to own coroutine finish dependent with each other, you use job. So that's it for performing multiple request concurrency. In the next part, we discuss about fail and retry. Example, when you call a request fail and you want to retry sometimes maybe 2 or 3 times, and if 3 times retry it still fail, we will stop. And we also discuss about cancelable and non-cancelable. To demo for fail and retry and non-cancelable, I add 2 buttons in home screen: fail and retry button and non-cancelable button. And I also added 2 screen: non-cancelable screen and fail and retry screen. When you click on fail and retry, we open fail and retry screen, and when we click on non-cancelable button, we open non-cancelable screen. And now we will try to do with a fail and retry. It is the same with a single or any fragment or any screen we did in the previous. We just have some view, and we call fetch data on the onCurious function, and open fail and retry view model. It also extends from by view model, and in the fetch data, maybe we don't want to clone. First of all, we need to call view scope.non to create new coroutine, and in here we call loading true, and in here we adjust parent job equal and register event parent job finished to hide the loading, and pass the parent exception handler to exception to handle exception if we have. And we call to repository to get the data, repository to get request with index 1, and at this point we don't throw any exception. So maybe it is the same for single request, right? But now I want to so the first I want to add a true to the either throw exception to make this request fail. And in the case it failed, I want to try to clone it maybe 2 or 3 times before I show an error to the user. So how can we do it? To do it, we can use a repeat function. Let me build other function. We call private function and fail and retry. In here we pass the times we want to try or call our request again. Example, we call repeat time enter. Sorry. And when we succeed, we throw an integer, and we will repeat time, and we repeat time, and in here we return repository and index and 1 and true. And in here we need to make this function. We need to add a suspend to make this function become suspend function. So now in here we can call another suspend function, and after try to request maybe 2 or 3 times, I want to try the last time. In here to make sure that when we have an exception from this function, to make sure that our application don't don't throw an exception right now. We need to handle it by add try catch. Catch. At this boy, at this boy, maybe I don't want to show the exception as soon as possible, but in here I just want to log it. And to make our request fail or succeed in a random, we create a variable called is fail. And example, I want to the first if the I want to the first time we call the request, it will be failed, and the second time it will be succeed. And to do it, I need to add index, and I check if index equal to either succeed is a fail not equal to, it means that our application will run from 1 2 3. Example, in here I call fail and retry, and I want to retry 3 times, and after 3 times trying here I want to try to 1 time again. So now maybe we need to minus it. Example, in here you get my point. Example, I want to retry 3 times. It means that in here I just try to clone 2 times, and I don't want to try clone 1 time the last time, right? But it doesn't matter. Now we can try to run application and open the log and click on fail and retry button, and you can see in here we call we always call with index 1, and we fail 2 times, and for 1 time we succeed. And it is a demo, and you can modify the code as you want. It's just a way that you just need add to repeat time and add try catch block, and you can retry any task you want. Okay, that's this for retry and fail. Now I want to talk about cancelable and non-cancelable. What's a cancelable and non-cancelable? To demo it, first of all, you open the non-cancelable fragment and non-cancelable view model, and in the non-cancelable view model we override function fetch data, and in here as the other fragment we assign branch of equal view model scope plus not sorry, and pass parent exception register and job, and in here I will demo for a process that the first time we call to the server side and get the data, and when we have a data we will we want to show it in the UI, and we also want to save it in the database. So for the next time, if the user open this screen, we can get the data from database, and in the case the user want to refresh the data, we can clone to the server side to get the data. So to do it, the first time I will clone server side data equal repository and request pdx one, and now for first of all I need to show loading true. And yeah, when I have a data, I just need call both value function of line data, and in the fragment we can observe it, right? So equal data post value server side data, and to save the data into database, I need to create a new function to it called save to db and data in, and I need to run it with contact dispatcher, and I just want to print some log for it. We will not do anything for database in here. Starting save data to db, and we delay it in maybe in 1 second, and then we print a log, another log, saved the data to db, and with data, and in here we will clone repository save to db and server side data. So for the process get the data for the next time, you can implement it by yourself. Now click open it and click on non-cancellable and open the log, and you can see here we call to the server side to get data. After having the data, we show it in the UI, and we also save it in the database, and it works, right? So but we have another case example, the example when the save to db function take a long time. Maybe it will take in 3 seconds, and when we are saving the data to database, and the user click back button, and what happened when we are saving the data? You can see when we saving the data, I call the user click on back button in here. You can see when we starting save data to database, and I click on back button, maybe you cannot see the process, the final log save the data to database is printed, right? To make it more to make it clearer, I will add another log to make to we know that's when our parent job finished. Parent job finished, and we will run application again, non-cancellable, where when we start saving the data to database, I click on right button and parent job finished. Because maybe when we discuss about Vimodal scope, you remember that when the Vimodal is destroyed, Vimodal scope will cancel every children job. Each job, I mean Vimodal scope will cancel every each children job. So in this case, this coroutine or this job will not finish. I mean the saving data to database will not finish, and we didn't save the data to database successfully. So in the case, you want to make sure that in every case our data can save to the database. One of the solution is you can use a work manager, or or you can use with context and non-cancelable. You can use like that and non-cancelable, and I can add it in here. And now we click on non-cancelable, and when we start saving the data to the base, I click back, and you can see our parent job will didn't finish as soon as possible. When I click on back button, it is it continued with the saving data to the base finished, and you can see here, and then it finished. Okay, so that is for non-cancelable, and everything for the popular case in popular case use case when we work with Kotlin Coroutines. I hope that this tutorial is useful for you and can help you deal with Kotlin Coroutines. Okay, so bye for now. See you in the next video.